Hey, this is Steven Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite. This is from December 23rd, 2020. First note, to not play the Kazarian and Chris Daniels thing when they were on Britt Baker's show, The Waiting Room on Dark, is blasphemy. That thing was fucking great. You could have cut it up to, a minute or less and got the point across. It is remiss to not replay that fucking thing on Dynamite because it was great. Might be the best promo anybody did all fucking year. Yes, I stand by that shit. That said, this was a very good Dynamite show. Last week's was definitely a bit of a fall off from the 2 weeks before where they were kind of throwing a bunch of hot shit at you. Just really good stuff. But then last week, it fell off a little bit. This week, definitely more setting up going on, more track being laid, and going in a couple of directions that are intriguing, and I don't know quite where they're going, and that is exciting to me. I will say that I watched the basketball game beforehand, right? Got the Celtics and the Bucks. I watched that game because I love basketball, and I haven't gotten to see it for quite some time. And throughout the broadcast, whenever they would bring up AEW, the commentators would have something to say about it. So I have no doubt that they got a few extra eyeballs on the show tonight. I saw from the Jericho thing where they were making fun of Jericho that definitely happened. And while that's not a positive thing, I will be curious to see what kind of ratings they drew, even though the show took place very late. We're talking well after 10 o'clock was the start time. But it was a good show. And let's get into it. So we had our usual intro, very colorful, very loud. Woke 'em up. Time to watch the show. Jericho, his music hit. Imagine this, though. You're watching AEW for the first time and checking them out. And what you see is a crowd singing along with Jericho's song. That is boss as fuck. That is cool. And again, AEW's got some cool stuff going on. Other shows, not as much. Jericho and God damn, Steve. MJF against Top Flight. Top Flight acquitted themselves nicely. They're sort of set routines, which look very complicated, but it's routines that I've seen them do again and again and again. Work very effectively here. Jericho, of course, expert. MJF, Jesus, Steve, looked really good. Jake Hager at ringside. MJF winning with the Heat Seeker I thought was a great move. Jake Hager helping set that up was great. Jake Hager being upset at Wardlow for taking time off for family stuff, which he was very negative about. And this ties into the thing with MJF and Santana and Ortiz later, and I'll tell you how. And again, it's subtle storytelling that AEW does at times. And I'm not sure it's going to land because they're being so subtle about it, but I appreciate it. Let me say that again loudly. I appreciate the fucking subtlety, AEW, and I see you, okay? So right here you got Jake Hager kind of blowing off Wardlow's family shit and then challenging him to a match upcoming. Oh boy. The Acclaimed video, their little music video about the Young Bucks was fucking fun. I know people get on the Acclaimed because they go like, well, but they got out-rapped by Frankie Kazarian. That's the point. Like, I think saying that, oh, they're like John Cena isn't the point at all. The point is they have these raps, and against jobber guys, yeah, they just get them over without retaliation, but against anybody else, they get to come back on them and get their heat on them that way. I totally get what they're doing. And they're going to be in our main event against the Young Bucks. And people are saying, well, they don't deserve a time. They're 8-0. I don't know. What the fuck? They beat fucking SCU. So, sure. Hikaru Shida is going to be here tonight. Kip and Penelope and Miro are going to have their announcement about the wedding thing. Oh, God. Jurassic Express, all three of them mofos against Colt Cabana, number 5, Alan Angels, and number 10, good old Vance. Evil Uno against Dustin, continuing Dustin's quest to get through all of the Dark Order. Pac against the Butcher. And Stang is going to be talking to Tony Schiavone. Commercial. They got all that in before the commercial. They promoted the entire fucking show. They had an angle develop between Jake Hager and Wardlow, and then they had a match between Jericho and MJF against Top Flight. Back from commercial, we have an AEW Christmas story bit. I have a feeling these are going to play it. Now, I keep on A Christmas Story. You know, they play it for 24 hours, and that thing is on most of the time when I'm around on Christmas doing my shit. I just do it. So I'm curious, how many of these AEW bits am I going to see? I bet you a lot. Stang. Him talking about Dusty was awesome. Impersonating Dusty was ridiculous and fun. Darby being there. Then Taz's group shows up, and we see Darby fucking making the walk towards him. Ooh, cool. Taz cuts the promo. Lights go out. They come up. Darby's there with Sting. Again, another moment making Darby. Smart. January 6th. So in 2 weeks, we're going to have Darby against Brian Cage for the TNT title. Now we get this bit with MJF and Santana and Ortiz. Santana and Ortiz are going through some stuff with their family, and MJF, just very sincere, is being really loving and supportive and like whatever you guys need. And it's this very serious it's this very serious moment that the announcers put over as such, and they're a little surprised. But I'm not, because I see the connection. Jake Hager doesn't care about family stuff, but I do. Very smart. And MJF does not do a wink, wink, nudge, nudge here. I like it. Match number 2, Colt Cabana and 5 and 10 versus the Jurassic Express. They get a split screen during the commercial. That's here's a couple things I have to talk about, right? The spot where Luchasaurus picks up Marco Stunt and drops him into a senton-like thing, but then hits Marco Stunt's lower body onto the person's prone body, so the back of his head fucking smacked the mat, and he almost knocked himself out, and then he was obviously bothered by it for quite some time afterwards. Fuck, man. AEW, they just gotta be more careful about this shit. They just gotta be more careful about this shit, man. The easiest way to do it, and instead of just blowing it off as shit happens, it's not shit happens. You have to fucking take care of each other. It's easy and better to err on the side of Marco Stunt's lower body hitting the mat first than him hitting with his legs and then his head going back. I mean, they gotta fucking be more cognizant of this shit. That assisted powerbomb, crazy flippy thing is a much better finisher than what they used to do, which is like a wheelbarrow into a cutter. I fucking hated that thing. So that's how they get the win. Great. We're told that the Jurassic Express are now the number 3 ranked tag team. Okay. Tully's there, cuts a promo with FTR. We're gonna come and get you, Jurassic Express. Got it. Thanks. Good. Again, AEW spends they spend half of their show promoting future shows. Not just promoting the matches that you're about to watch, and it's much smarter. Commercial. Alex Marvez, when we come back, is talking to Omega and Callis. This is the best that Callis has sounded, in my opinion. It's really good. Omega is definitely into the heel part. They rip on Rey Fenix hard, and then they're going to wrestle each other next week. More build-up for future shows. Love it, love it. Butcher against Pac. They get the split screen during this match. Hits the Black Arrow finally, which they put over huge. I love that the commentators did that, calling it the coolest move in wrestling, etc., etc., etc. We finally got to see it. Lance Archer makes his presence felt. Some brouhaha happens, setting up stuff for later. Gotcha. Jade comes and cuts a promo, says she's going to take over Brandy's jobs. Damn. And kind of implying that Cody has avoided the call out from Shaq. Gotcha. Miro, Kip, and Penelope. What the fuck are they going to do? They're about to make their announcement, but then the Best Friends video comes up. And I have to admit, I was swerved. And the fact that they're laughing and that they trolled all of us with a fucking wrestling thing of the guy's video hits and then they come and break it up, but they were just trolling us. Fucking funny as shit. Well, why wouldn't the Best Friends come out? Now we cut to a video of Trent being loaded into an ambulance. Holy fuck. This was so much more effective than it should have been. But, you know, at one point you could argue with Miro, there was nowhere to go but up. But they're going up. I got to tell you, they're going up. His presence in the Battle Royal was well done. His match against Sonny Kiss on AEW Dark, further advancing things, and this will help even more. February 3rd, Beach Break, they're calling it. They're going to have their wedding. Oh boy, that's more than a month. So we're going to see what kind of buildup they're going to give it. Great. Commercial. We come back. Match number 4, Dustin against Evil Uno. JR's commentary during this was spot on and really, really, really good. The story he told with Dustin. He's a good man. He's sober. He's, he's running a school. I love that JR continually puts up this redemptive story about Dustin, how important he is and how he deserves respect. And he just puts more importance on the match, and he really puts Dustin over. People want to say shit about JR, and I get it in a lot of ways. But boy, JR's about the only guy who can deliver good shit like this. And I wanted to point it out. It was great. Dustin wins eventually with the Bulldog, which he's been using as his finisher, which I like. Stu Grayson attacks in brutal fashion. QT's there, and then Evil Uno knocks him the fuck out with that right hand, even though he sells that hand because Dustin had been working on it. And I appreciate these little details. And then Lee Johnson comes in and hits them both with a dropkick at the same time. And he's the hero. And the crowd pops, and they should. And it's a great moment for Lee Johnson. Now, let's book him and keep him on this momentum. And get him out of this, the guy who loses on Dark thing. But this is a great way to bring him in and make him look all the hero. I love it. Again, AEW does way more right than wrong, folks. I know people don't like to hear that. Some people, for some reason. But that's the way it is. And I, for one, am glad because I watch the shit. So I'm glad it's good. Tony Schiavone's talking to Sean Spears. Sean Spears, again, it feels like he's searching for something. And so now they're making it as part of his gimmick. I'm looking for this thing and I'm going to do this thing. Not overly effective. And in fact, in the midst of the matches and the very good promo work that's happening all around, I think this one kind of got lost in the shuffle. Just my opinion. Dasha's talking to Shida. Abaddon attacks in this kind of thing where she forearms her once and it's kind of yelly and screamy and crazy. I love the thing about Michael Nakamura and other agents pushing Shida towards the curtain. But you got to enter the ring, and Shida, I love that feel of the backstage of I know this thing just happened and it's crazy, but you got to go out there. Abaddon's really fucking playing with her mind, fucking with her when she's not expecting it, and that kind of stuff. I totally get where this is going. So Shida comes to the ring and takes it out on some Alex Garcia, which I love to see. Match number 5. Shida beat the shit out of her. One thing, Alex Garcia, man, I know she wasn't sandbagging per se, but her inability to get herself up, because Shida is strong as fuck. We've seen Shida lift Nyla Rose and deadlift other girls when she had to, and she was struggling with Alex Garcia. They just did not have good chemistry in the ring together. But Shida does win with the Falcon Arrow, and then her and Abaddon get into it again, and Abaddon bites a chunk out of her frickin' shoulder/neck, and it has the effect that you're looking for. And then people were complaining back and forth. Why did people complain when Shayna Baszler did it, but not when Abaddon did? Let me tell you, I loved when both of them did it. And with Abaddon, it definitely works, and she definitely needs it. I think it's a great thing to keep advancing this thing with her and Shida. And then finally, we get a commercial, and then we come back. They tell us what the cards are going to be for the next 2 weeks. You hear me? They tell us what the major matches, if not all of the matches, are going to be for the next 2 weeks. That's booking and promoting, folks. Then we get the Acclaimed against the Young Bucks. They get the split screen commercial thing during their match. It's fucking good. It's really fucking good. The fact that they revisit the boombox thing that they did. They do a rare ref bump. And they really did a good job of making you feel like Acclaim had a shot at winning this, especially when he hit him with the boombox. But at the end, powerbomb one dude through the table. AR Fox with muscles, skulls, plus looking guy. And then the other guy gets pinned with the BTE trigger, and it's fucking good. Great show. Sent us home happy into the holidays with a smile on our face. This is a show that is operating out of strength, not making decisions out of weakness, and that continues this week. And if you don't believe me, numbers don't lie, and neither does your friend in wrestling, Stephen Platinum.